All right, welcome in another episode of Goodman, Hummel, and McCall, and good to have everybody with us. And it's good to have Rob here because we were afraid for a little while there. It looked tough. I mean, it looked like it was going like this, Rob, to where we weren't sure. Not only we were going to have you in the podcast today, but we might not have you here, like here on
I
Earth
was
today.
hoping I'd die so I could get off the podcast, actually.
You
I
had
think
a
it's called,
case of Hummelitis.
I think it's
no,
He
called
was
the
diagnosed
bubonic
as
plague. I think it's the
Hummelitis.
bubonic plague.
And what
it felt
Hummelitis
like it.
is,
Dude, I
I've
will
talked to,
say,
yeah.
here, go ahead. Keep making fun of me.
Well,
Go
I've
ahead.
talked to Matt Painter and some of your other former coaches, and they define Hummelitis as the disease in which that somebody really tough could fight through, but Robbie Hummel is unable to get
Chooses
through.
not to.
Dude, who are you sitting next to on an airplane that gave you this disease? That's what I want to know. Like,
Well,
what was
like,
going on?
I have been in a lot of arenas. So, like, you think about and airports, so all the exposure. I haven't been sick really since I got COVID 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think I missed a game since I got COVID 3 years ago. And I missed a game on Monday. But I was as sick as I have been. I know you guys make fun of me. I was throwing up to the point of being so dehydrated my legs were cramping like I had played in the Louisville, Indiana. I mean, I literally Uber Eats Pedialyte and Gatorade at 5 a.m. because I was like, I can't get up. I just throw up.
There's nothing worse. There's
I know.
nothing
I
worse.
know.
You want to die. Like that
Yes.
that happened to
You want
me
to die.
like literally right after I got fired. Like 2 days later, I was so sick. I called our team doctor and I finished the season. So like I'm trying to like I didn't want to make it about myself. I wanted to keep the focus on the players. And like I'm trying to go coach a game. We're going to the A10 tournament. And like I had to call the team doctor to like come help. Like help.
Yeah.
My wife
Sounds
can't
like
help
you had
me.
a case
Nobody
of
can help me.
Hummelitis too. You had a case
Okay.
of
Hey,
Hummelitis.
Jeff, I have to tell you this. I was eating dinner last night after the Purdue Minnesota game with one of my buddies who was a manager for us back at Purdue that still lives in West Lafayette. And we're in this really the hotel bar of the Purdue Union. And these really nice three people from Northwest Indiana come up to me and they're like, hey, we have really one thing we want to say to you. And I was like, oh, what's that? They're like, just tell Goodman he sucks at everything. I was like, gladly, I'll tell him that. So that's shout out to them for
Appreciate the message
my
from
evening.
those for
It
you.
made my evening.
That's
Well,
amazing.
we know I don't suck at everything because
Well, I'm just glad I'm starting to rally all people from the state of Indiana to hate you. And I hope that Matt can maybe do the same down in Florida. That'd be great.
hey, listen, there's more than just Florida and Indiana that hate me. We know that, but we are glad you're doing better. On a serious note, we were worried about you there for a minute. And,
No, you weren't. Matt was worried about me. Your text
Touch and
messages
go.
are
Touch and
literally,
go.
if they were released to the public, I wish they could see what an asshole you are. Literally happy I'm sick. Happy
I
I
was
feel
not
awesome.
happy. I
You
just
were making
knew.
fun of him.
I
You
knew
were
it was
making
like
fun of him.
a case of like a little bit of the flu or something like that. And I know
I
you
think I
well
had
enough.
neurovirus. No,
I had
respect
seen
the
you.
virus going
I had
around,
seen
right?
you the day before. You looked fine. Clark Kellogg
Yeah,
was
I
fighting
felt-
something.
I'm shocked you don't have it if you saw him the
I
day
wish
before.
I wish I'd given it to you, honestly. I wish that when we shook hands, I wish that got transferred
I
right
said to
over.
Rob, hey McCall, I said to Rob, I go like, what is this? He said, well, you can get it from like food or something.
Well, I
said,
thought
well,
maybe I ate something bad.
I
So
said,
I
who
don't
was in the arena that
Could've.
might have poisoned you? That might have
Yeah.
got you?
know.
And,
You.
yeah,
You.
listen,
Also, Matt, look at Jeff's fraud flag back here. This dude has an Indiana football banner
Right.
hanging.
that's right. I
Does your
did-
alma
just for
mater
you.
talk about someone that may hate you? Does your alma mater hate you? Because you were just like active, like you. It's almost like you never went to Arizona. Like, did
Yeah,
you go
great.
to Indiana? Did
Yeah,
you
they,
go
they
there?
do not. No, but
Delicious.
my money is going to Indiana. All right,
Okay, I understand,
the
but
last check is going to be done in about a week and a half when Talia graduates. So When you're paying 50 grand to a school, yeah, that's the one I'm cheering for right
Jeff's
now.
about to have a lot of disposable income.
That's right, exactly.
Does that mean our salary goes up from the Field of 68 and the Goodman, Hummel, McCall podcast? Does
Yours
our
might,
salary
man.
go up?
Yours might. You show every week. The other guy, I don't know. I mean, he literally taps out every other week. It's crazy.
Oh my God!
Crazy.
One time, dude. One time I made it.
I will say, it's not often. I don't know how much you guys are able to go as fans to games, and I am a bandwagon fan, obviously, at Indiana football. We know that. I know you guys are looking at me. No kidding. Yes, I fully admit I'm a bandwagon fan, but it's been a blast, and to be able to go and see a game of that magnitude as a fan, because there just aren't many opportunities I get to be able to do that, and like to be able to relate. Like, I don't know how fans do it. I don't know how they do it, and they go through this roller coaster of emotions, because that Indiana game was kind of crazy against Ohio State. They end up
so
winning,
you were rooting like heavily for Indiana?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
He went to Arizona. He is such a fraud. Oh my!
I'm with
God.
my daughter.
What's crazy? You know what's really crazy is, so this weekend we have a big weekend in the McCall house. My girls are swimming in winter champs down in Plantation, and listen, I'm a Gator. I grew up a Gator. My dad played football at Florida. Like, I wear my dad's necklace that has a Gator on it. When he passed, my mom gave me this necklace. Like, I worked there for 11 years under Coach Donovan. My kids, outside of Brooklyn being born in Gainesville during that 2014 team that went to the Final Four, my kids have never been to a Gator game. Wow. They've never been. So we're actually going to go this weekend. But it's funny you bring it up, Jeff, because when I watch Cignetti coach, he reminds me of Matt Painter. Like, just his mannerisms. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. It's very even keeled.
He's weirder than Painter. He's way weirder.
I've never talked to the guy, but I was listening to him for whatever reason. The college football playoff had to have a 3-hour reveal show. I'm like, okay, can we just get the teams out there and let's play the game, please? Like, this is ridiculous. Why is this coverage on for 3 hours? And I was on a JetBlue flight coming back from the studio, and you hear him talk. I mean, I've never had a conversation with him, never shook his hand, anything. I love the things that he says, and I love just how even keeled he seems. It reminds me of Painter, in my opinion.
I actually had a 20-minute conversation with him before his first year in his office. And the one thing that's...
You can take credit for his success?
Yeah.
You built
I'm
this.
the one who gave him the pep talk that got him going. No, but I did say to him, I remember the one thing I said was, hey, man, like, you know, you'd be ecstatic to go 3-2 in your first 5 games, right? And I didn't know college football. Like, I didn't know their schedule at that point.
Or such a dipshit.
And he looks at me like I was out of my mind, guys.
Good for him.
Are you kidding?
Yes, he should have.
What coach would be like, yeah, I'd be
that's okay.
Indiana football.
Yeah, we'll take it.
The coach of the losingest program in the history of college football at that point would be happy to go 3-2, but I didn't realize how bad UCLA was at the time. And he even said to me, he's like, we have a advantageous schedule this year. So he knew it.
Maybe he'll be the coach at Alabama in a couple weeks, depending.
He could be the coach in the NFL soon.
Maybe I'm just saying with this Michigan situation, maybe the carousel.
This Michigan situation is bananas, by the way. Bananas.
It is.
We sure are more. I know you were doing some Twitter searches over there, Rob, last night. Anyway,
trying to see what's going on, but
yeah, I know you were after your game. I'm sure you were trying to play a little catch up here. Anyway, all right, let's get down to business here. And I think the biggest story over the last few days was the performance of AJ DeMonza in the second half against Clemson for BYU. Now, he had done this against UConn in the second half, if you guys remember, at TD Garden in Boston, his homecoming, but they came up short in that game. In this one, they come back, they win the game. Richie Saunders wasn't great. Rob Wright hits the game winner, but AJ DeMonza he took over again. And he took over after a kind of a poor first half, McCall, in which you expect a guy like this maybe in Madison Square Garden, after a bad first half, to maybe try to press and take some bad shots and make some plays that aren't really in his bag. Instead, like, he let the game come to him. I thought the most impressive part was the last few minutes, the passing ability instead of forcing it. I just thought he's always been in the mix for the number one overall pick. But I thought watching him and watching his maturity and poise that he plays with, that to me said a lot, because we know his talent is there.
Yeah, I mean, and I know we're going to get into this conversation, but you bring up not playing great in the first half and the response in the second half, and then making the right play down the stretch of the game. There's another guy that did that over the weekend at Michigan State. Boozer has 2 points in the first half, has 16 in the second half, and he goes down the lane with the game on the line, plays off 2 feet, and makes the right play. Like, watching what these guys are doing as freshmen is so impressive, because I think for DeBonsa to do that and continue to play the right way, like a lot of guys in that situation, especially when the game gets on the line,
Gets tough.
like, they press and they're like, I'm going to make a play. Like, the ball's in my hand. I'm going, like Boozer, same thing. Like, it would have been easy for him as an immature freshman, which he's not, as an immature player, to try to go down the lane and force something up at the rim.
Yeah.
Didn't do it. Played off 2 feet, throws an unbelievable pass out, 3, ball game. It's, talent-wise, we can get into that debate. Who's more talented? Who's the number one pick? Right? But the fact that both these guys are that poised in that moment is so impressive.
And I've seen DeBonsa from the Hoop Summit and in high school, and you just don't see many prospects that come out with his physical abilities, right? Like that's where the upside of DeBonsa, and I'm really high on Cam Boozer. I know there's been some people that have maybe been negative about what he shoots at the rim, or is he a rim protector, or how big is he? Like there's all these kind of narratives around Cam Boozer right now, but DeBonsa, I mean, he's got a body that's like a Tracy McGrady, right? Like he has that kind of like mold. And then I remember at the Hoop Summit seeing him, and he got to like a turnaround jumper, and you're like, that looks like an NBA move, and he's a senior in high school. He has the ability to be that. Now you start mixing it with playing in a mature fashion, and give BYU's coaching staff credit for kind of coaching him up. And not that he could have made the right play in high school as well, but like, you're around guys that have coached NBA players and Kevin Young, and understands. He's coached Kevin Durant. He's coached high-level pros, just that's what his background is. I just, man, DeBonsa could be a legitimate superstar. I don't know if Cam Boozer gets to that level, but I think Cam Boozer's floor is incredibly high. And the second half for AJ, that was pretty awesome stuff, whether it's the dunk he's got in transition, or the plays he's making out of the post, or the passes he's making. That dude, he is going to have an opportunity to be a superstar. And there's not many guys that get drafted in the NBA that you can really, really say that about. He is a no doubter on that.
I mean, I think the two of them too, it's like the unselfishness.
Yeah.
In a day and age where
at the Garden, where like most guys are going to be like, I want to win this game. Right? I want to win this game.
No, I want to show the world what I can do. It's all I've heard about is it's the Mecca. It's smelly elevator that you have to ride up to get out to the court. It's I saw what MJ did in here. I saw what Kobe did in here. Like this is my time. No, he played the right way, and because he played the right way, his team won the game.
Jeff, right? Do you think DeBonsa was inspired by my 16 points at the Garden against Maccabi Tel Aviv back in 2017?
Wow, I didn't know. I don't think anybody knew that. I'm pretty sure even
the game was actually postponed by a protest mid-game, but I was able to rally.
16 in the first half?
Wow.
It was total game, but just for Milan, Olympia Milano, it was a great 2-game exhibition series. It was a coming out party.
Who was on that Maccabi team?
Actually, what was his name? I was actually giving him buckets. He was Dragan Bender.
Oh yeah,
he was not a good NBA player, but he was like a top 5 or 6 pick.
He was,
and he was not good in this game either. So,
no.
But I thought maybe that might have inspired him.
So here's my question, and we're talking about this now, and to me, they're all unbelievable players. Like, it's hard to poke a hole in any of these dudes. I mean, Darren Peterson hasn't played a ton because of the hammy injury. He's back. I think he plays hard on every possession if you watch. AJ plays hard. I mean, that's the other thing that we haven't talked about. Like, he plays hard on both ends. Now, off the ball defensively, can he get lost? Yes, absolutely. A lot of these freshmen can.
But most young players that are that talented are not good off the ball.
No, they're great on ball.
Defensively in general. But like Debonsa has every tool to be an unbelievable defender if he wants to be. That's the thing. And that's
He's
really
coachable too. I think they're all coachable. They play hard. They're talented, and they're all different. They're all different. The top 3 guys, Debonsa, to me, I think, there's 4, I think, that are going to be in the mix, maybe even 5. Nate Ament has a long way to go, but he's a potential guy, right? He's a guy that they're going to draft.
Honestly, I don't think he shaves yet, Nate Ament. I don't think
he looks like he's young. Yeah. And I assume you're throwing Michael Brown in there too?
Yes. And I know
he's had some
you saw one of them.
I saw a valley, and you did too.
So did I. I still have confidence that kid, and he is dealing with an injury.
He just settles sometimes for too many bad shots from 3. I think he should be looking to get to the paint always.
Especially when you see his athleticism.
And then take the good threes.
Yeah.
Take the like that would be what I would say about
100%.
But I love his game.
I just think, to me, there's 5 guys. And you could throw like Caleb Wilson as 6. I think he's probably number 6 right now. Obviously, he can't shoot, but he does everything else well. Here's my question to you guys.
Are you throwing Koa Pete in there?
He's 7 to me.
Okay.
In the mock draft I did, he's like 7. But I don't know if he can crack, just because I think he's like 6, 7.5. I don't think.
And like, how does his game translate to the NBA when he's not bullying?
Correct.
The line, I think. He's awesome. He's a great player. But you're talking about seeing how he translates.
All right. I talked to a bunch of NBA guys, like 7 assistant GM and GM types, and I did a mock draft. And they all had questions about Cam Boozer at the next level. Now, I had him at 5, and people were killing me for putting him behind Nate Ament. Not my decision. I would have him at 4. If I were drafting, I would have Cam
move him up 1 slot.
Yes, I would move him ahead of Nate Ament. That's all I'm saying. I would still draft Darren Peterson at 1, AJ at 2, McCall Brown at 3, and then Cam Boozer. Because I do have concerns on his ceiling. Like you said, his floor is higher than probably any of these guys.
Yeah.
But can he be a franchise player? Can he be a guy that is your top player and you build a franchise around? I say no to that, where the other 3 guys I think have the potential to be that. And do you disagree with that, Rob?
No, I don't think so. And that sounds like you're disrespecting him, and you're really not. Like,
I love him.
You're right. I think he's a winning player at every level. He'll be a winning player at the next level. And I think he's not above the rim necessarily, and he's not going to be a rim protector, but you watch some of his skills, like he's playing inverted pick and roll. He can really handle. He makes winning plays. He's a good passer. He can be a playmaking hub in the half court. Really what you're saying is I don't think he can rise to the level of being like a Kobe Bryant or a star, a superstar in the NBA. And that's
a number 1 guy.
Yeah, there's only a few that can, but I think that he can be a guy that helps a franchise win a shit ton of games for a long, long time. And is there a
good comp? Do you have a good comp for him at all, either of you guys? Is there somebody that stands out that you're like, because again, like you said, he's probably 6'9".
Part of me wants to say Draymond, but like I don't. He's not that like. He's not gonna like get thrown out of games and
No, he doesn't
set
say a
illegal
word.
screens and everything.
I mean,
I'm not taking McCall Brown over him.
Okay.
I'm not doing it.
That's fair.
I just think the size, the ability to play an inverted pick and roll, which is what Robbie's talking about. I think the other two, and when I say the other two, AJ and Peterson, those guys going to the right situation, going to the right franchise, going to a franchise that's not, when Anthony Bennett got drafted to the Cleveland Cavaliers and when they were such just a bad cultural just mess.
Well, then
right?
he got to come to the Timberwolves for a better cultural lesson.
Yeah.
So lucky
Just
for
learn
him.
from Rob Hummel.
I think those two guys could be superstars. I think they could be all-stars.
Yeah.
I think they could be all-stars.
I think McCall can too. And I think
I am not taking him over.
I think Boozer could be a fringe all-star. I just think Boozer could be a 15 to 30 guy in the NBA.
Those other two, it's crazy to say this because I'm a huge Boozer fan. I just love how he plays.
Me too.
The other two to me have more upside.
Of course.
And that is what the NBA drafts on. They draft on upside. Like, where's the upside?
I picked Duke to win the whole thing because of Boozer, period. Yeah. Like, he is going to be the best college basketball player in the country this year. He is going to win National Player of the Year this year, in my opinion. Like, I'd be surprised if he doesn't. But I understand the concerns that the NBA front office types have about him.
Well,
I understand.
Concerns might be too. It's just. I don't think concerns is the right word. It's more of like, I get what you're saying, but it's more so comparatively speaking to the other.
Yes.
Like, concerns makes it sound like he's falling out of the first round to me.
If these other two guys weren't here, he's the number one pick. You know what I mean? Like, if the freshman class was not historic like it is, you're taking him number one. You're taking him number one.
Yeah.
But this is just we're witnessing a historic freshman class.
So we all agree.
Historic.
I mean, we're taking them in the top 3 or 4. Period.
Jeff, who is you said you were going Peterson, DeBanson, who?
McCall Brown.
I would go McCall
Brown.
I would go. I just think he's a 6'4"-ish, maybe even 6'4.5", 6'5" point guard who has a gear, who can shoot the hell out of it from deep. He hasn't shot it great so far, but again, a lot of that is shot selection and learning how to play the point guard position.
When's the last time a point guard was drafted and changed the franchise? Like, where you're like sitting here like, woof, man, is he good? Like, man, he is.
I mean, Shea,
we got to get this guy because he's changed.
Shea was traded and changed the franchise.
What was Shea taking, like 20?
Yeah, he wasn't in the top. He wasn't in the top.
15?
Yeah, I think he was late lottery. I think he was late lottery-ish, right around there.
I mean, another Jamal Murray. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, when you have size, physicality, it's just,
I just think McCall Brown is different than, like, okay, we're going to talk about the last couple guys, Trae Young and LaMelo Ball. Like, he's nowhere, like, this dude is like this. He's as solid of a leader, of a team guy, of an off-the-court guy as there is. So let's not compare him to some of the knuckleheads like LaMelo that came out that are more talented. I'm not saying LaMelo is not more talented. This kid can, like Boozer, can make his imprint on winning, and I think he'll get better. I think we're going to see a different McCall Brown in February, far different than Rob and I saw the other night.
Honestly, Matt's point is really good. Ja Morant probably is the last point guard that's been, and that's now the 2019 NBA draft. He was taken second. That's really very.
It's been a bad point guard group though the last few years.
But I'm just saying, as a guy that can come in.
But even more,
I look at AJ DeBosa, like, he can change the trajectory of a franchise.
Matt, here's where I'm going to push back even more. I'm going to say how much more important it is to have a great point guard. That if one is out there that could change your franchise, how do you not take him? Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate there a little bit. because there aren't many. Look around the league right now. The position isn't what it used to be 5-10 years ago. So
because
do you pass up
like
on a guy?
These they're playing like point forwards. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And you don't have
who's
to.
bringing the ball up the floor? Like Foreman. Like that's the game has, transcended to that. Like Cooper Flagg brings the ball up the floor. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna see AJ next year in the NBA bring the ball up the floor. Like that's gonna happen. I mean, the shot clock is so much shorter. You're not initiating your offense, and running continuity and doing all this. It's, hey man, we're running a quick hitter. We got to go.
The team
So let's put the ball in our best player's hands to bring it up the floor. That's what we're going to do.
The team that's won like 100 games in a row right now has a pretty good point guard. That's all I'll say in the NBA right now.
Who's that?
Shea.
Mike drop, Jeff. They're the best team in the league.
They're pretty good.
Shout out to Mark Dagnall, your fellow New Englander.
That's right. We got to get Mark on this.
Jeff turned his back.
I think Mark's a little bit busy right now. I mean, I'll reach out to Mark and see if he wants to come on the Goodman Hummel McCall pod. But I think he's a little busy.
Wasn't he bringing you water years ago? Like, I don't understand. Like,
no. You know what's crazy, and we'll keep it on task, but I have to tell this story because I think it's a great story, especially for young assistant coaches that have huge egos and get in their own ways and want to make it about themselves. When I got back to Florida as an assistant coach, I had no idea who Mark Dagnall was. All I knew is this guy sitting in the conference room with shoe boxes full of notes.
Really?
Full of notes, shoe boxes. He didn't have an office. He sat in the conference room. And I'm sitting there, and I got Norm Roberts in one office. I got John Pelfrey in another office. I'm the young guy on staff. Norm was just the head coach at St. John's. Pell was just the head coach at Arkansas. And Coach Donovan kept going in the conference room to talk to this guy, Dagnall. And I'm like, well, if he's talking to him, the boss, the future Hall of Famer, maybe I need to go in there and learn from that guy.
What was his
Because
title?
obviously he's very smart.
What was his
And that's
title?
what I did. What's that?
What was his title?
He was a GA. He was in grad school.
Really?
He was going to grad school. Yes. He was going to grad. One of the smartest guys I've ever been around. Zero ego.
Well, if he has zero ego, he'll come on with us three slackers. All right. If he's got zero, he'll come on with the three of us.
If you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 on 3. Get the scoop.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Zero.
All right.
We'll see.
We were talking about Michael Brown. You and I, Rob, were there for the Louisville, Indiana game in Indy just hours before Indiana football won the Big Ten championship game.
Thanks. We get it. We know.
And
we know.
it was the score was not indicative of the game at all because Louisville won that game from start to finish. It was
Really in
never
the
a game,
first
in my
6
opinion.
minutes.
14-0, 16-0, right?
Yeah.
Rob, how impressed are you with Louisville? Because they didn't even play great.
No, but I was impressed.
Yeah.
Their trio of guards is phenomenal.
Yes.
Like that, I love Ryan Como. Loved him last year.
He's
Loved
awesome.
him at Indiana State. Love him at Louisville. And just, it's really cool that he got to come back again to I was about to say Bankers Life, Gamebridge in Indianapolis, and have another big game there. Had a big one when he's at Indiana State, and for him to be a Pike High School kid, and it's crazy he wasn't recruited when Pike's put out Jeff Teague and Courtney Lee and Marcus Teague and David Teague and all these great players. Like, it's crazy.
A lot of Teagues.
A lot of Teagues. But yeah, it starts with their guard play. I really like Frew. He plays his role. He's one of the better offensive rebounders in the country. I guess you could question if he gets in foul trouble. Like, Khalifa is a great passing big, but where does their defense kind of go when he's off the floor? Love. God, I'm blanking. The four-man Hadley. I almost said Hudson. Hadley, really good player, winning player. I don't think that they played a complete game by any means, but there were flashes of like, whoa, this team can, if they can put it together and keep getting better, they can be a team that wins the whole thing. And I think for Indiana, when IU has played better high major competition, their offense has not looked nearly of what it's looked like. And Louisville took them out of that too. Minnesota did the same thing. Different story against Penn State, who's playing 8 freshmen or whatever they've got. But yeah, I was impressed. I just think their talent, the way they play, their offense, they're going to be a problem come March. Really, really high on Louisville.
McCall, you agree with what Rob said, that they can legitimately be a team that can cut down the nets this year?
Coming out of the Arkansas game, I'm sitting there like, I'm not putting them in the same category as Michigan. I'm not putting them in the same category as UConn. I'm not putting them in the same category as Duke. But maybe getting beat that way on the road in that kind of environment, you're able to hit reset. And like, okay, guys, like, yes, I know we blew out Kentucky. Yes, like, we're a good team. But we need to humble ourselves a little bit here, hit reset. And they look like it. I mean, yeah, because I think it almost seemed like Saturday, and you guys were there, that Indiana still had a little bit of a hangover from Minnesota, maybe. I don't know. But watching what they were able to do, I'm with Robbie too, just in terms. I mean, McCall Brown didn't even play well.
Yeah,
in that Indiana game.
And I'm not saying that he
didn't play well, and the game was never a game. It was never. I know Indiana tried to make a push and do this. The game was never really a game because of Cromwell, because of the shot making, and he's coming off pick and rolls, and he's coming down in transition, and just, I mean, man, you think Richard Pitino would like to have him right now, right? Oh my gosh, like holy cow, like he's phenomenal.
But Richard with a crosstown shootout dub.
Big win. Big win.
Let's go, man. Big win.
That's a sweet game. That game deserves more national attention, I think. Just because like it's a great rivalry. And I know those two teams aren't necessarily great. Cincinnati needs to have a big year, and that was a tough loss for them. But that crowd and that environment, that's a really, really cool rivalry game.
And that's what you have to do. You got to go to the bar after the game if you win it, and you got to buy everybody beers.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Richard's good at that.
He was drinking that thing a little bit gingerly, but Jeff, we know he went back to his house, smoked a cigar, and cranked back some beer. Cranked them back.
The beast. Man.
As he should.
I like Louisville a lot. The guards I'll put up against anybody in the country. We haven't even mentioned McNeely's name. And, man, when he gets loose, it's like automatic.
He's a weapon. He's a weapon.
No doubt. So you got 3 guards that, to me, collectively will shoot it as well as anybody in
but that's why I think they're terrifying, Jeff. Like they can blitzkrieg you from 3. Yes. And I know what, like, you could take what I just said or what Matt just said and take it out of like, oh, they're national title fate. Like, I'm just saying that they are going to have the ability to be terrifying in March so long as they continue to improve. I think that
Frew is the key. Frew is the key for me, because they're not going to have too many nights like they had a week or so ago against Arkansas where they can't make a three. Let's be honest. They're not. And they let Brazil get going and his confidence.
They also
Losing a
didn't
game
guard the
like
ball.
that helps
They-
them, man.
they-
Like losing a game like that helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah, and they got scorched off the bounce too. Like I just think that was kind of an uncharacteristic performance in a number of ways for Louisville. And life on the road in college basketball is hard. Like Arkansas is talented.
Whew.
They are a talented team. So I think that when it's all said and done, we're going to look at Louisville and they could be a terrifying out in the NCAA tournament.
So when Indiana looked at Louisville, I think they looked across the court and they saw a team and a program that's a year in front of them. Let's be honest. Kelsey in year 2, right? You have some retention. You've got depth. You've got similar money, but you've got momentum after the year that Louisville had. And obviously they were able to bring in an elite freshman in McCall Brown. This Indiana team right now to me is just very limited, Rob, because you got 2 dudes that are elite shooters in Tucker and Wilkerson, who went for like 45, set the record a game later against Penn State with 10
and he
threes.
had good looks against Louisville and just didn't make them.
Correct.
Right? He had some open shots.
If one of those guys has an off night, like to me, it's hard to not have a great point guard and big. And I think both of those positions for Indiana are questionable.
Well,
Like,
Jeff, don't you feel like it's just easy to scheme? Like Minnesota, I felt like set the blueprint.
Yeah.
We're going to be incredibly physical.
Yep.
We're going to switch a lot of this action, and we are going to just dog both Tucker DeVries and Lamar Wilkerson off the ball. We're going to take away all of that action that they're going to run. And I thought Minnesota did a great job of that. I thought Louisville certainly tried to employ the same thing. But yeah, like you're going to be able to, if you're scheming, you're like, you know what? If Connor Enright, he's taken 2 shots in the last 2 games.
let him shoot.
Make 10. Shoot as many as you want because you don't want to. You want to
Play off them. Just play off them the whole game.
Peyton Connerway, if you want to shoot these threes, we're going to keep you out of the paint.
Yep.
And then in terms of like Reed Bailey has not translated up, and Sam Alexis is a good player, but he's not, you're not worried about him burying you post. There are so many guys that you can scheme away from with Indiana, and that's going to be the challenge for their staff in terms of, how can we make lives easier when we play good people for Tucker DeVries and for Lamar Wilkerson.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, what you just said, there are so many guys that you can scheme away from. I wrote it down because I do think that tells everything about Indiana right now and how limited they are. And if you get the A game from both Wilkerson and DeVries,
they can be good people.
They can beat almost anybody, but those guys can't have an off game unless Connerway, and they need Connerway to be really good because he's the only one that can put pressure on the defense, really put pressure on the defense and get in the lane. All right, let's get into the Iowa State Cyclones here. The team that I think we've talked about Houston with culture for years now and Kelvin Sampson. And I think we need to start talking culture with Iowa State in the same way. I know they didn't get to the title game, haven't been to Final Fours. I get all that. But what TJ Otterberger has done is nothing short of amazing in his fairly short time as a head coach there. And I think this year, from watching them in Vegas, they're different than they've been in the last couple of years, Rob. Why?
Well, because I think they've had an elite defense in a scheme that's hard to handle, and they still have that. They load to the ball. You can't drive baseline. You can't post on the block because they're just going to make your life miserable. But now they have the offensive firepower to go along with it to say this team is just a juggernaut. Joshua Jefferson, Taman Lipsey, Milan Manchilovic, or however you say it, those 3 guys are monsters.
Yeah.
And then you have elite role players. Torrey was phenomenal at just dogging the ball. He made some tough shots too, but just to kind of bring that next to Taman Lipsey, that man. And then like just some of the other guys too, Heisey, like they have guys that understand their role,
Yes,
play alongside their stars.
Yep.
They guard the shit out of you. and now they can really shoot it and they can really score. And I think that game against Purdue, that they were riding just a heater offensively. But with that being said, they've kind of done that. They're shooting 43% from three on the season. So
that's the difference.
They've always been a great defensive team under TJ, but now you throw in elite offense, and their Ken Pom numbers say, man, this is an elite tier 1A team that could easily win the whole thing.
All right. I hit you with this before, McCall. Can Iowa State win it all? Like, we love the Cyclones and what they're made of and all that, and the fabric and the coaching, and man, like, we love them. But are they there? Do they really have a chance to win 6 straight?
Weren't you like killing the hire too when they made?
No,
not
me. I've been a TJ guy. I wondered why he didn't get it done at UNLV. I was shocked because I've actually been such a big TJ guy.
Before you get there, how many teams have beaten Purdue like that in Mackey Arena in the last 4 years?
Zero.
To go into that hornet's nest and play like that, when that place is going.
How about Lipsy though? 34 assists and 4 turnovers on the season.
He's a killer, man. He is just
4 turnovers? Like 4?
They just play the right way.
Like that is with the ball in your hands that much?
I know.
To Robbie's point, always been terrific defensively. I like Coach Otterberger just because he's not a me guy. Like he's not.
Nope.
He doesn't make it about himself. He's not big on Twitter. He's not self-promoting.
Nope.
He's not making – no, he doesn't do any of that. He's a ball coach.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's a ball coach. And I think what happened in the Purdue game too is and Norm Roberts said this scouting against those guys when he was at Kansas, if they get a lead on you because of how they guard and because of how they execute and take care of the ball – it's really hard to come back from. And Matt Painter said it after the game. It was an avalanche for Purdue. Like he said, we played frustrated, but we played frustrated because Iowa State made us frustrated. And he was giving them credit. But if they get up on you, and this is why I do think they can win it all. Like if they get an 8 to 10 point lead, they're so good at executing. They're so good at taking care of the basketball, and they defend. That's tough to overcome and try to cut into that lead, and you just saw it against the number 1 team in the country.
They don't get rattled. They literally don't show any emotion. You can't tell if they're up 20 or down 20. They show nothing, 0. And what I love about them, too, is, all right, where we see and I don't want to get into this, but we will talk about Kentucky, I'm sure, as the season goes on, where we see a Kentucky and we wonder whether the money has affected these guys. Iowa State's guys came back, all of them, for less money. So they're there because they want to be there, right? They understand the value. You're telling me Lipsy couldn't have went somewhere and made, right?
It's the same with the kids at Purdue. Like, it's the same. Like,
Yes.
There's just a culture there that's they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. Like, I don't care what the money is. I don't want to leave. I'm having too much fun, and I'm enjoying being a part of this program.
Yes.
So why would
really
I leave?
Kind of cool to see.
Yes.
And I hope Rob's right. I hope Iowa State is a team that could make a Final Four because other than the fact that they're very vanilla on camera, those guys, they're scared of TJ, though. So a couple years ago, and then we'll get into our quick conference deal here. What's the best conference in America? A couple years ago, we're in the Bahamas, Talia and I, and we're playing blackjack, and all the players are down there.
What a role model, Dad.
Yes.
Role model.
She was 21. No, she wasn't. But in Bahamas, you didn't need to be. Anyway, so the players are having all sorts of fun down there. They're hollering, they're having fun, they're winning, they're losing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I text TJ. I'm like, hey, come on down, for a little bit. Just come on down, say hello, whatever. So the moment he walks down, it's like those dudes saw a friggin' ghost. Nothing. They are terrified of him, which is so shocking because I've known TJ for 20 years. And I told the guys this. I said, when he left after he was down there for about 20 minutes, they were like this. They were like even keel, like they're on the court. And then I said, do you guys realize like what he was like when he was younger? He was like he was a little wild, and they kind of couldn't believe it because again, I think the culture's just been set there. And like you said, Matt, the dude doesn't self-promote at all. At all. Zero. Zero. Doesn't say anything crazy. And just coaches kids up. And he loves, listen, he thought about Indiana wanted him. Indiana wanted him desperately. And they would have thrown crazy money at him. But
he's invested in that program from when he was an assistant and has
he doesn't
built this
fit.
thing.
He doesn't want to be in the fishbowl at Indiana or anywhere. He loves Iowa State. He loves kind of where he's at and playing second fiddle, even to football a little bit. And also not having as much pressure on you in a way of like, hey, I've already done it. I've built up equity here. I know everybody here. I know how this thing works. All right, since we're talking about Iowa State, the Big 12 has 6 teams right now in the top 20 of the net. They have 8 in the top 50. That is equivalent to Big 10 also has 6 of the top 25. ACC has 5. SEC only has 4 of the top 25 in the net right now. Vandy being the highest at 5, Alabama 10, Georgia 15, shocking, and the Gators at 24. Which, Rob, I'll start with you. Which is the best league in America today?
I think it depends on how you want to quantify best. Like the best chance to win the national title, the deepest league.
Best overall league.
Overall.
If I just say the best league in America, you are going to answer what?
Last year it was so easy. I kind of want to say the Big 12, honestly.
Oof. I think you have to.
Because of the top end,
3 teams in the top 10.
Mixed with the depth, I'm going to go with the Big 12. Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, BYU is a heck of a place to start. And then you get Kansas as they reload back to full health. We know Texas Tech has a lot of talent. I know maybe some of the disappointment of the Illinois and the Purdue losses sting a bit there. Oklahoma State's a great story. Steve Lutz's doing a nice job down in Stillwater at 9-0. The SEC, you just don't have the pop at the top. Like last year, Auburn and Florida were so above everybody else. Vandy's 9-0, and then like Florida's been disappointing. Bama has been just okay. We know Kentucky, Tennessee's fallen. Man, when I saw Tennessee at the Players era in that Houston game, I'm like, oh, they are. Yep. They're going to be a problem, and they've kind of come back to earth here. They're young. They with Ament playing as much as he is, and young in terms of being together. Very new team is really more of what I'm saying. So, and then with the Big Ten, Michigan certainly is a juggernaut there right now. Purdue at 9-1.
I just say this: if I ask you what is the league with the most amount of teams that could win the whole thing, does that change? You said the best league, and I agree with you, is the Big 12 overall. Would you have a different answer if I said, hey, what's the league with the most teams that could win the whole thing?
I still think I'd say the Big 12 probably. I guess Big 10 would be Purdue and Michigan is who I would think there. Big 12, you'd say, if Iowa State, Arizona, Houston. I think it is the Big 12.
And even Kansas.
I want to throw Michigan State in there too because
you could do that.
If Fears makes a field goal, they could have beaten Duke. You know what I mean? Like if he makes one, like just one basket. I watched that game, and when the game was over, I said to myself, I could see both these teams winning. That felt like a Final Four game. Yeah. Like that felt like a Final Four game. So I think the Big 12 and the Big 10 are neck and neck.
Yeah.
UCLA to me is like the bit of like the head scratcher because I think they have the talent. I think they've adjusted their offense and brought in Donovan Dent, who is shooting 7% from the 3-point line. He shot 41 last year.
7?
So like 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He shot 41%.
I can
last
shoot
year.
higher than 7%.
No, you
So it's like that, it's in there. Like they're going to be one of the best defensive teams in the Big Ten. They got 6 guys averaging double figures right now. So Cronin kind of adjusted, the issues they had. They were so bad offensively last year, like so bad. I'm not saying they can win a national title, but I'm looking at the Big Ten. I'm saying Michigan. I'm saying Purdue. I was like
So
Michigan
do we
State
agree?
and Duke.
All right, so let's go through it quickly. Michigan and Purdue, we agree, right?
Yes.
Anybody else in the Big Ten that really Michigan State?
I'm
guys
putting
are
Michigan
them
State in there.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's 3. Illinois, are we putting them in there?
I'm not putting them in
Not
terms of winning a
Not to
national
win.
championship.
Not yet. All right.
They're in the same tier to me as UCLA. They're in that next tier.
SEC, Alabama?
Maybe.
No, neither are you. Rick.
46
Okay.
defensive efficiency. I don't think.
Okay.
Got to guard him.
ACC, Duke and Louisville?
Yes.
Nobody else. Carolina, no. Virginia, no. None of them.
Although it's impressive what Hubert Davis is doing, but no.
Big East, just UConn or St. John's too? Just
UConn.
Okay. Gonzaga from the WCC?
That's it.
San
And then
Francisco.
Big 12. Big
Why
12.
would you even say the WCC?
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to have more
Put
teams.
St. Louis from the A10. Just throw them in there. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm just saying Gonzaga is belongs. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to omit
Yeah.
Gonzaga from this conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Iowa State, Arizona, Houston. Yes, all 3.
Yeah, I think KU with full health you could throw in there as well.
Possibly. They're like an asterisk right now.
Potentially, yeah. We don't know what they are at full health.
What about BYU, guys? No, I don't think so.
I don't know if I could put them as a national championship contender right now.
So we have Big 12 and Big 10 with 3 apiece, ACC with 2, Big East with 1, WCC with 1, and the SEC with 0. So that gives us 7 teams. Are we forgetting anybody? Kansas. Kansas is the one that we reserve right to judgment right now because of Peterson. So they could have 4. So we basically have listed 8 teams that realistically have a good shot to win it all. That's kind of crazy because I thought there'd be more than that. I thought when we went through this, it'd be more than 8 teams.
There's been some teams, though, that showed some flashes and have fallen back to, back in the pack, right?
Reality.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Reality.
we had
Alabama
Florida
has shown flashes. Alabama has shown flashes.
Yeah,
I
would
would
put-
like a Tennessee.
What they did in the Garden against St. John's, they've shown flashes, but still, I don't.
Could Arkansas get there? No. Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think a team
I
like
would say
Illinois is one to
maybe.
watch.
I just think Arkansas, with their overall talent, could maybe, but they have a long ways to go, I guess.
All right. There you have it. So, Big 12 is the best conference in America. Are you in agreement of that, McCall?
1A and 1B. Big 12, 1A.
So typical.
Big 10, 1B.
You can't make a decision.
1A, 1B. Yes, I did. I
Unbelievable.
said Big 12 is 1A. Big 10's 1B. It's right here. It's right here. That's the gap. Right here. There's the gap. You see that? That's the gap.
All right. Hummel and I have the Big 12 as the best league in America. All right, we got to cut this thing short because I think Hummel's got to get an IV just to make sure he's.
I got to get to Fort Lauderdale. Jupiter Dragons, winter champs.
Good luck, man. Good
400
luck.
IM.
Hummel, you know they have
100
those places you can go into now and get the IV right in in Vegas.
Talk to Matt about his kid's swim meet. Why did you have to take it back?
Can we stop it with the norovirus?
Good luck. Good luck to the what's your daughter's name? Which daughter?
Brooklyn.
Good luck to Brooklyn McCall
Brooklyn.
in the swim meet here. And hopefully she'll bring home a gold, unlike what Hummel was able to do back in the Olympics.